And welcome to Thursday night AngryMarks.com Pro Wrestling and Mixed Martial Arts podcast, also known as Thursday Night AMP. I am Stevie J. Two people on the line with me. Ho ho ho, celebrating Merry Christmas, or the aftermath at least. Starting with Jason Harland, aka The Great Sudoku.
Hey, from the rudo that gets the kudos to the heel who runs the whole spiel, let me say this with no filter and no screen, motherfuck 2016.
Yeah, especially after all the celebrity deaths in the last week. We'll get to that in a second. Let me first also introduce the lovely and talented Abby.
Good evening, everybody.
So yes, 2016 can officially, pardon my French, suck a dick, because not only did Carrie Fisher die, her mom, Debbie Reynolds, died as well. That just stinks.
That was heartbreaking. You could tell it was heartbreaking for Debbie Reynolds, too. I heard she had a stroke planning Carrie Fisher's funeral, and yeah, it's just how 2016 has gone. It's just been just sad with all especially the entertainers that we've lost.
It makes me feel like I should stop posting anything because I posted Wham's Last Christmas as one of my 12 songs of Christmas, and then George Michael dies. It's like, oh, fuck 2016, really?
Well, didn't Vinnie Mac sing Stand Back? Why don't you post that? Maybe he'll die.
Yeah, maybe I should actually use this power for good. Maybe it's like Death Note in anime. I can write it down and it'll happen.
Oh, boy. But yeah, George Michael died, and of course Prince died, and David Bowie.
Yeah, did you guys hear the inventor of the Red Solo Cup died?
Yeah, Kevin mentioned that yesterday.
Yeah, so the party is officially over now.
We'll drink to remember him out of our red Solo cups.
Red Solo Cup, you fill me up, let's have a party. I don't even know who sings that.
Toby Keith, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. He has a lot of songs about drinking, and I don't mean more than a few. I mean like every song is about drinking.
Well, you know, country music.
Country singer number 11. That was going to be my answer.
What were you going to say, Abby?
Country music, it's about, breaking up, drinking, bulldogs, trucks, pretty much,
NASCAR, chewing tobacco.
All I know is one of the last times we were in Las Vegas, one of my friends actually requested we go to the I Love This Bar, which is one of Toby Keith's songs, and get him an I Love This Bar t-shirt.
Oh, dear.
We were nice about it. We fulfilled the request. We were like, hi, we need a t-shirt this size, and got right the fuck out of there.
At least y'all didn't linger.
No.
Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of not lingering, the year 2016 almost gone. Wrestle Kingdom 11 right around the corner. I know we previewed it last week, but any additional thoughts on it before January 4th comes around full circle?
It's just been bugging me that Cody is in Bullet Club. It just really has been eating away at me. Why is Cody Rhodes in Bullet Club?
Cody
another reason to be mad at 2016. The Bullet Club gained Bone Soldier and Cody Rhodes. Or just Cody, excuse me.
Right before we went on the air tonight, I saw a tweet from Cody saying that the American Nightmare t-shirt set a sales record. I don't know, is that hyperbole, or do you think that's really true?
It's probably hyperbole because that's an ugly ass shirt.
Maybe for Cody merchandise it set a record, but I don't think it set any records over your traditional Bullet Club shirts, which I would guarantee you are best sellers around the world. Just the Bullet Club logo shirts and the Bizcliz shirts.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, that can't even outsell Los Ingobernables de Japón t-shirts, let alone regular Bullet Club t-shirts.
Yeah, I don't think he's outselling Los Ingobernables shirts in Japan. In the US, I don't think he's going to be outselling just straight up Bullet Club shirts.
It's not even on sale in Japan yet. The only place they've got it right now is Pro Wrestling Tees.
That must be what he's talking about then. His own,
he's big time.
His own personal sales record. Well, kudos to Cody, but as long
well, who's going to buy a fucking Stardust shirt? Of course it's breaking sales records.
I was going to say, though, I have a little more sympathy for Cody this week after that hideous segment on Raw with Bayley and the Bullet Club. I mean, the Club, sorry. I keep wanting to call them Bullet Club, even though they're not in WWE, but was in such poor taste that I really shouldn't be surprised because WWE always does that. But at the same time, why do they have to keep going the low road every single time?
Because it's WWE, that's what they do.
It is, and yet I just wonder how many times they have to disappoint me that way before I'm like, fuck you all, I'm never watching anything you do again. I mean, I'm already at about the low water point for me with just watching pick and choose instead of trying to watch everything. And I know, Abby, you like to rub it in, like some of us have to watch everything. I know you do. I'm not saying you don't, but at the same time, it's like they're just trying to drive me away as hard as they can with segments like that.
I can't stand Raw anymore. I mean, it's a chore to try to get through. SmackDown is fine. 205 Live is fine. NXT, yeah, sometimes is okay. But Raw is just, it's a fucking chore.
It is. It's 3 hours. It's way too long. And then they put segments like that in the show. And there are so many things wrong with the segment. I just want to go over them bit by bit. First of all, the teddy bear has polka dots. And Dusty said before he died, he didn't want to be remembered for 1 year of his career and these stupid ass polka dots that they made him wear. Yet because everything WWE does has to be about them and how people were used when they worked for them, it doesn't matter if you were Medusa somewhere else, you're a Lunder Blaze if you were with them. That's their attitude. So of course the teddy bear has polka dots. So that's disrespectful thing number one. Disrespectful thing number two is ripping the head off a teddy bear to get heat when, in fact, it's not been that long since Dusty died. We're all still a little upset about it. And Cody was really close to his dad, way more than Dustin and his dad were, because, as I understand it, the way it worked out was that Dusty was always on the road when Dustin was growing up, so they didn't spend a lot of time together. Whereas when Cody was growing up, Dusty was home on the weekends. They'd watch football together. He had a more of a home family life at that point. So I can understand how Cody would have taken that a little bit personally.
Yeah, I mean, it was uncalled for. It was tasteless. I mean, there are other things to do other than disrespect the memory of someone everybody loved.
Yeah. It's
especially for a know-nothing match.
Right, for cheap heat, for a meaningless feud that's never going to do any kind of business for them.
Yeah, I mean, it was one match, a short-ass match for one show.
Mm-hmm. Jason, any additional thoughts?
I didn't see it. Yeah, I'm listening, catching up with what you guys are saying. I have completely thrown in the towel on Raw and SmackDown. I watched the pay-per-views, but I've already reached my breaking point, and they've already driven me away. And
well, if you hadn't already been driven away, this segment would have been a good step on that road. You would have been.
But you said they were involving Bayley in this too.
Well, yeah, because Bayley was the one who came and presented the teddy bear.
It's like, I understand why they want to make a mockery of Anderson and Gallows because they were big and they didn't get big in the WWE, but Bayley is someone who came up through the WWE system through NXT. I don't understand. I mean, I don't know if this segment was designed to bury her. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but just the way that she's been used or not used lately, as the case may be.
Well, this actually.
What are they?
Sorry, I thought you paused.
I was just going to say, yeah, what are they doing to why are they burying Bayley, or why are they not using her or misusing her or not taking advantage of having her on Raw?
Well, ripping up one of her Bayley bears is another way to get heat, but the fact that it was dressed up like Dusty is the real low, despicable part. And that reminds me of the other thing I was going to say that I found offensive about the segment is that I've read many, many interviews where Bayley talked about how sweet Dusty was to her and how Dusty convinced her to be this bright, cheerful girl and make her own image and not try to be like everybody else, and how he even told her to wear her hair in the ponytail because it made her stand out, and gave her all this great advice on how to shape her character. And she obviously would feel some type of way about that because a lot of her success is directly owed to Dusty Rhodes. So having her involved in that segment is also a really despicable thing to do to her as well.
And the character Bayley doesn't need that kind of cheap heat to get a babyface reaction from the crowd either.
Right. She's beloved without heels healing on her because people just like her. She's an infectiously likable person.
Just baffles the imagination and the mind of what they're doing over there at Raw. What creative is doing or Vince is doing. Ugh.
Yeah, almost everything that goes on Raw baffles me. But one thing that doesn't, at least it's the right decision to make, although it baffles me why they waited so long to do it, putting the tag titles on American Alpha on SmackDown.
Yay!
Took way too long to get there and way too much of a roundabout way, but I guess better late than never. At least 2016 goes out on a high note.
It's about, yeah, there were another one that was severely underused that I had started thinking, it would be nice to see these guys go to New Japan because they're not being used, but it's nice to see that somebody on the SmackDown team remembered, oh yeah, we've got American Alpha on our roster. They're good. Why don't we give them the titles?
Almost too little too late, but I'll let Abby speak on that.
I don't know if it's a little too late. I think their whole mindset there was, let's get the, crowd to know who they are. And, unlike with Bayley, who they've come real close to ruining her because now she doesn't get near the reaction she got when she came in. At least they've been utilizing American Alpha somewhat logically.
I would agree, except for the point that they were originally set to win the titles, and then they got eliminated from the tournament in the most cheap manner possible. That to me was, if you wanted to get the crowd to know them, why not put the titles on them right at the start, right when they're winning all their matches in the tournament, and the crowd will immediately know who they are because they're the new champions. Why did we have to wait 6 months to get to this point?
I don't know. I don't think like Vince. I don't ever want to think like Vince. I find 90% of the shit he does stupid, but part of me understands why bringing someone up from NXT, the last thing you really want to do is put them in the center of everything right off the bat. Because then if it doesn't go right, or if it's not, accepted well, doesn't go over well with the fans, they don't get blamed for it automatically.
Except they weren't afraid to do this with Finn, and the only reason it didn't work is because he got hurt, not because he wouldn't have been over with the crowd.
Yeah, but it's not like his first night they put the title on him.
Well, true, not the first night, but they pretty much strapped the rocket to his back right from the moment he showed up on TV.
Well, we all knew that was going to happen because merchandise will go through the roof with the whole Demon King crap.
Mm-hmm.
And the paint, and the kids will love it, and shit like that.
Yeah. So,
and they could have capitalized on Balor Club, but they chose to kill that golden goose.
Well, Balor Club, I don't think that really would have worked. I don't think they wanted him in with them.
No, in the long run, they would have not wanted it to be anything close to Bullet Club, and anything less than that would have pissed off the smart fans in the crowd who knew about it, so it was doomed to failure and best left in the dustbin of history.
I mean, they've still got the shirts and everything, but they're not gonna make it into anything within the company.
Right. I've still got mine that I bought at the NXT show in Dallas, so I'm gonna keep on wearing it whether they promote the Balor Club as anything or not. I've still got it and I'll still wear it.
I've got mine somewhere.
Yes.
I'm so inundated with wrestling shirts, it's hard to find, a specific one.
Yeah, these days I actually have to be very selective because I've acquired so many wrestling shirts over the years. It's like, there's gotta be a really good reason for you. You gotta be somebody really special, or your shirt's gotta be really damn cool before I plunk down another 15, 20, 25 bucks when I got a whole closet full of the damn things.
Yeah, and I'm tired of the black shirts. Could they not come out with white ones? I mean, I bought the stupid, and I say stupid because I don't like the whole connotation of it, but the white Nakamura Ichiban shirt, because it's white.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I like the strong style, stupid Japanese, let's be as transparent as humanly possible and as unimaginative as possible. But, it's like, it's a white t-shirt. Mm-hmm. I'm a very, very pale redhead. I don't look like a corpse in it, so.
Well, I remember I bought a Johnny Gargano t-shirt for that, pretty much that same reason. It wasn't the same old black t-shirt. It was on a gray background, and it looked like a cartoon was exploding off the page. I was like, you know what? This shirt is absolutely different from every other wrestling t-shirt I have, and most people would not even recognize it was a wrestling shirt.
I've got one of Tama Tonga's that's like that. It's a beautiful shirt. The artwork is gorgeous, and I don't think anybody looking at it would know that it was for a wrestler. It doesn't say his name on it. It's just this really artistic rendering of his face with the paint. It's like nobody would look at it and say, oh, gee, that's a wrestling shirt. No, it looks like some kind of weird kabuki mask.
I think the Samoa Joe Submission Specialist t-shirt I have is kind of like that too, where if you just looked at it, you might think it was the logo for a gym or a jiu-jitsu club. You might not recognize that it was pro wrestling right away. The ones that are always the dead giveaway, they're a wrestling t-shirt, is the ones with the wrestler's face plastered all over the front of them. It's like, you cannot get away from it at that point. But I did break down and buy the Sting one. One, because it was Rob Schamberger's painting of Sting, and two, because I just think it's such an iconic look that I don't care if it's his face or not. I just love how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we totally got up on a segue on shirts there. That wasn't really the direction I was intending to go, although Jason knows more about that than most, considering he makes his own.
I do, and I actually did. My dad got me for Christmas. One of the gifts he gave me was another package of iron-on papers for my printer, so I can make some. So I may have to make an Arco Irista Sheamus shirt for Mini Rainbow Sheamus there. It's Mini Rainbow in Spanish, but yeah, make myself an anti-Jack Gallagher shirt.
Okay, no. You cannot be anti-Jack Gallagher, especially after this week. You cannot do it.
You cannot be complaining after the duel. That was an epic battle.
I'll have to go back and watch it. I didn't see it.
Yes, you have to watch the Gentleman's Duel.
All I can say is an umbrella becomes the greatest weapon ever.
Oh, it sounds like a lot like Jet Li movies.
Kind of, yeah, actually. I never even thought of that, but you're right. It is like a Jet Li movie.
Like Hero, or not the one with Jet Li, but the one with Donnie and, the one that I watched on Christmas Eve, Iron Monkey.
Oh,
There's some nice umbrella fights in it.
Yeah. And there are a few Jackie Chan movies that I think would look very similar to this duel as well.
I'll have to check this out now. This was on Raw?
No, this was,
205 Live?
Yes.
Okay.
It was, right? 205. I seem to remember it was 205.
Yeah, the prelude to it was on Raw where he slapped Daivari with the glove, which is like my new favorite thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I have the GIF pinned to my Twitter account. Like, this is my new favorite thing. Just smack you with a glove.
Like the Simpsons with their glove slap song.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
glove slap, baby, glove slap.
I think they've found 2 or 3 things that are really going to work now for the Cruiserweight division. And again, it only took them this long to finally figure out that these guys needed to have characters we could enjoy and identify with. But Neville as the pissed off badass who thinks that he got screwed and now wants to make everybody pay for it, that's great. Jack Gallagher as the gentleman who will duel you and will slap you if you act like a scoundrel, that's great, you know. It's more than just, here's a guy with video game music who likes video games. They're giving these guys real characters now.
That's good.
TJP does not have character, period. He's boring as hell.
I kind of figured I'd get you to rant on him when I brought that up. So I kind of set you up with that one.
And Creeper Noam Dar, I don't really understand that, but yeah, he got smacked around too this week. Slapped wise.
Yeah. It beats, like, outrageous Rich Swann too. Like, just let the guy wrestle. Outlandish. Yeah, thank you. See, it's so bad I can't even get it right.
But, you know, evil Elf King Neville is just perfect.
Yes.
He reminds me of an angry little troll, you know? And it's great the way he talks, his facials, his attitude, his intensity. It's like, this is what Neville should have been all along.
I could be remembering wrong, but I swear he got in a reference to Pac when he said, I'm the man that gravity forgot, but I guess everybody else forgot too. Didn't he say something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's those little sly references that just make me love it even more. Like, take this heel thing to the hilt and run with it, please.
Yes, it is desperately needed, and the cruiserweights were really floundering, and I think this is kind of the shot in the arm that they needed.
Yeah,
Because God knows TJP wasn't doing anything for him.
and as much as I like Brian Kendrick, I'm the crafty heel who tricks people into doing my bidding, Brian Kendrick just wasn't taking it to the next level for the cruiserweights.
No, they needed somebody to come in there and just be nasty and ugly and mean, and that's what Neville did.
Yes, and now that gives everybody else something to build off of, is, they can be stronger characters going against a stronger heel. It works well for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So actually,
I'm still trying to figure out why they had to incorporate a whole love triangle thing into the cruiserweights.
Yeah, the Cedric Alexander thing, that's no bueno. I'm not into that at all.
No.
But on the whole, it seems like, at least for those of us who are watching a little bit of WWE, this wasn't an altogether bad week other than that Bayley segment with the club. I mean, it seems
and the rest of Monday.
and the rest of Monday. But it seems like they are doing a few things right between 205 Live and SmackDown. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf would say.
SmackDown beat Raw in the ratings this week.
Yeah, I saw
Wow.
John Cena was crowing about that on Twitter. He said he made it his goal and they achieved the goal that he set.
No, he needs to shut the hell up and go back to Hollywood.
Yeah, like he could really take all the credit considering what day Raw aired. I think that made quite a bit of difference.
Cena is just, I don't know. The one thing I don't like about him still is the whole disconnect. It's like he went out and did a rather heelish promo to open SmackDown up. I'm sick of the new era. I don't like the new era. It's my era. Da, 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 da. And then gets on talking smack and praises the new era endlessly. It's like, can you not have just a little bit of continuity? just a little bit. You don't have to be completely logical, but maybe just a tad bit of continuity.
This is WWE. You're asking way too much there.
And calling AJ Styles a kid. Well, you moron, you're the same fucking age.
Right. And you were probably both in, what was it, the name of that stupid dojo, Roland Alexander's gym. You were probably both there around the same time.
But he's just so condescending and patronizing, and people like that just rub me the wrong way. Mm-hmm. That and being hypocritical on occasion. It's one of the reasons I've never liked Cena.
Well,
he's just fake. He just comes off as fake.
There was a point, though, where him being fake was actually good heat for him back when he was the rapper from West Newbury and people could see right through it, but he kept on doing it. That was kind of good heat for him.
Well, that was new and that was different and it hadn't been seen before. And we get the same John Cena all the time now for the past decade. He hasn't changed. He hasn't grown. He hasn't evolved.
I think you can say that for most of the top WWE stars, though. I mean, how much has Randy Orton really changed over that time?
At least we've seen something different with him, and this whole deal with the Wyatts has seemed to stop him from phoning it in so much, and it looks like he actually gives a damn out there.
True, although now that they've lost the tag titles, it seems like he'll go right back to being what he was.
Yeah. I guess it was good while it lasted.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's like, what I mean when I say Orton doesn't change much is like, babyface Orton and heel Orton kind of seem like the exact same person.
They are.
Mm-hmm. It's just all a matter of who he's doing the moves to. If he's doing them to good guys, he's a bad guy. If he's doing them to bad guys, he's a good guy. That's the only difference.
And I guess it goes back to wrestling no longer wants to have good guys and bad guys. They kind of live in shades of gray.
Mm-hmm. Too much of that. Way too much of that.
Well, that, and they never let anybody be themselves or make their own character. Everything that's done now is 100% written and scripted, and you're coming off reading a script instead of being who you are and making your own character and carving out your own niche.
Oh, God, speaking of that, one of the interviewers this week, one of the backstage interviewers, gave the most robotic interview I've ever heard in my life. And I cannot remember if it was Raw or SmackDown, but I believe it was an interview with Renee Young. And just the wooden manufactured way she was reading it, it's like, you are just killing this segment. Are you reading off a teleprompter? What's wrong with you?
Is that new Charlie girl from Raw? I mean,
Yeah, I think it was her.
it's like, they're not good.
But wait a minute,
Was
it her? Because if it was Renee, it probably was on SmackDown. Because I think
then it was who, Dasha or
Dasha?
Tasha
Dasha. That was it. It was Dasha. She was just hideously bad.
Yeah, Charlie's on Raw and Dasha's on SmackDown.
No, this was way, way worse than anything I've ever seen Charlie do. Like, Dasha was the antithesis of emotion. It was like an emotional vacuum. You just sucked it all out of her and just left a robot standing there reading lines.
Well, that's pretty much most people in WWE now. I mean, who doesn't act like that? Kevin Owens doesn't act like that.
Jericho.
Chris Jericho. Dean Ambrose when he's having a somewhat decent night.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Styles has gotten so much better on the microphone since coming to WWE. I don't know what that can be attributed to.
Probably just getting the opportunity to finally show the world how great he is.
Yeah, I mean, Bray Wyatt never sounds like he's scripted.
Yeah, but Bray Wyatt also sounds like he's making it up as he goes, because it doesn't make any damn sense.
Well, he probably is, but at least he doesn't sound like he's scripted.
That's true.
You know, Roman Reigns sounds like a robot. Seth Rollins sounds like he's just there. Randy Orton sounds like he's just there.
The New Day sounds the same as they did a year ago.
That's because they are the same as they were a year ago.
Now, I know you don't like John, but every now and then when Cena gets fired up and really pissed off, he does sound like he's coming from the heart.
Yeah, but then, I mean, I don't know, he's just always struck me as fake. And then if you see him on Total Bellas or Total Divas, it's like, he's this jackass.
Wow.
I mean, he comes off a lot of the time as a piece of shit.
Well, speaking of
but how
things
much of that
I
show
purpose-
is work and how much of that show is shoot?
And to Jason's point, that's kind of in the category of WWE things I avoid watching. But I have...
Well, sometimes when you have insomnia and that's the only thing playing 24/7 on television, it's like, okay, I'll sit here, maybe it'll put me to sleep. And no, I just find myself getting pissed off at the television.
See, what I've found from the clips that I've seen, and that's really no indication of the show as a whole, so don't take my word for it, but the clips, he does seem to have a lot of rules, like, you don't do this and you don't do that, and my house has to be my way. It's like, that would get old if you were living with that dude after a while.
Yeah, and when he gave Nikki Bella an agreement basically saying, you have to sign this to live here and I can boot your ass out anytime I want to because it's my house, it'll never be yours. It's like, seriously? This is everybody's little hero right here? No.
Well, that's the point at which I would take Jason's, how much of this is a put on for the camera, because we know reality shows aren't real.
I think that was pretty much real.
Maybe.
Because he got burned in his divorce because he was an idiot. He's like, oh, let me cover my ass now, make you sign this piece of paper for you to cohabitate with me.
Perhaps. I just wonder if it was that real, why even put it on camera? Why not do that off camera?
Well, hell, these people have, cameras following them to the bathroom.
Well, I can't really argue that, although I don't want to see that either.
No, I wouldn't want to see that either.
He said earlier today that Kurt Angle had gone insane again. What's he done now?
Oh, yeah, he's claiming that he's going to be back in WWE by April, even though WWE consistently, repeatedly denies that they have contacted him, that they've talked to him, or that he's coming back. But he still keeps saying that he is.
Hasn't he been saying this for
Daniel
2
Bryan,
years?
Right?
You were both talking at the same time, but I heard Abby say 2 years. Yeah, he's been saying it for 2 years. What did you say, Jason?
I said what, and his opponent is going to be Daniel Bryan?
Yeah, I don't think he would even get in the ring if he did come back. I think it would be like a Legends contract or something of that effect, but...
He'd come back at WrestleMania, squash one of the New Era people, and leave.
I don't even think they'd let him in a ring if they're smart, but the reason... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Wasn't the whole thing with them not wanting to bring him back was the fact that they didn't want him dying in the middle of the ring?
Basically, yes. That's why I don't think they'd ever let him wrestle again, because they were afraid he was going to kill himself between all the drugs he was taking and the way he was working. So, they would not take that risk. But, he's been telling promoters that he's not available for bookings in 2017 because after April, he's gone.
I don't know, maybe he's going to Mars or something.
Yeah, he could be gone in many more ways than just going back to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back to AJ Styles for a second, since we were talking about how great he's been in WWE this year. Apparently, they agree because he's already being listed as the champion all the way out to February, so it doesn't look like they're taking the belt off him anytime soon, although card subject to change, but he's being advertised as far out as February 4th as the champ.
He is?
Yeah, Grand Forks, North Dakota listed him as WWE champion AJ Styles for a show there.
I have a feeling they're going to give it to Cena.
You really think so?
I can see them doing it, yeah, because they're going to have to pull the trigger on this whole Ty Flair's record sometime.
We could have Cena on one show and Reigns on the other show with the belts. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Well,
Don't even get me started on that. Just don't even get me started on that.
One of the reasons that I'm willing to believe this advertising is accurate, and this could open up a whole can of worms when I say it, but I'll just throw it out there anywhere and let the chips fall where they may. One of the rumored, just out there as a possibility, and I'm not saying it's confirmed or that anybody knows this is a fact, but one of the rumored matches for WrestleMania next year is John Cena versus The Undertaker.
Yeah, I think they're building towards that.
So why would John Cena need the title to be in that match? Because it's not like Undertaker is going to win the title.
Undertaker has to pass the torch. He's got to do it fully, you know?
So how does John being the champion and beating him serve that master? Why can't John just beat him in that case? Why does he need to be the champion too?
Because Taker has to beat the world champion.
Because fuck you, that's why.
There you go.
But, okay, so...
I'm trying to put myself in WWE's head.
Right, so I know you're trying to do that, and I'm trying to do that too, but let me see if I follow this train of logic here. We have John Cena beat AJ Styles and become the champion so Taker can beat John Cena?
Prior to Mania.
No, so that Cena can beat Taker.
And again, I'm just not following that, because if he's already the champion, why does he need to beat Taker?
Because he's Superman.
Exactly. He's Superman.
Clearly, he's not at this point. He's a part-timer at best.
Oh, don't say that to him.
So is Brock Lesnar, and look how they book him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they booked him to lose to Goldberg in 90 seconds, so yeah. Okay. Maybe we can do that with Cena, too. Maybe Taker can just give him a choke slam and walk away.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't even care what they're doing, honestly.
Alright, but I'm willing to go with the theory that AJ retains until at least WrestleMania, because I just don't see the point of putting it on Cena for a feud with Undertaker. I just don't.
I could see AJ losing the title at WrestleMania, because we all know how Vince loves to piss on the fans during WrestleMania matches.
Yeah, but I mean, who is he logically going to fight with off SmackDown? It's either going to be Taker or Cena. And Taker is not going to be there for anywhere close to a full schedule.
Right, so...
Cena is, like you said, part-time, but don't say that, because it's not true.
Well then, okay.
You know, I mean...
The flip side of this is, what is Undertaker's motivation for feuding with Cena? Why do two part-timers care about getting in each other's business?
I don't know. Who else is
that's what
Taker
the man
going to
who
have a
signs
match
my
with?
checks told me to do. That's why.
Because fuck you, that's why? Is that what you're saying, Jason?
No, I'm saying because the man who signs my checks told me to fight him. That's why.
Well, that was the excuse we had for him fighting Shane McMahon last year, and that one barely passed muster.
So I can see Vince repeating, that was brilliant. Taker versus Shane was brilliant. Let's do that again, but with Cena.
Well, at least they've moved away from the direction of Brock Lesnar versus Shane McMahon, because I was deathly afraid they were going to do that one.
Shane would get broken in half.
I would probably, in a perverse way, might actually enjoy that, but It's not something they needed to do. And the fact that they're actually seeming to trend in the direction of Lesnar and Goldberg at Mania, I like that. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Abby doesn't.
We've seen it. Why? I mean, we've seen 2 bad matches. Why do we want to see a third?
Well, something they'll do at the Royal Rumble in the over-the-top elimination will set it up.
Yeah, but what's the point? We've seen Goldberg beat him twice. Yeah, beat him twice.
Well, that is the point.
Why do we want to see a third match?
Because Brock Lesnar cannot let that stand. He will be out for revenge.
So? You would think if he wanted revenge, he would have gotten it already. Not wait 6 months to get revenge.
Well, he's a part-timer, so.
Yeah, he's another
Everybody's
part-timer.
a fucking part-timer. So what? If he's that pissed off about it, show your ass up the next night and take Goldberg out while he's in there giving his victory speech.
Well, this is where we could at least count on Paul Heyman to interject logic into it because few other people ever try to. Paul Heyman would come out there and cut a promo and say, Brock Lesnar wants revenge on his terms because he's a prize fighter and he only fights for the right amount of money.
So it's not about revenge, it's about money.
It would be about both. Heyman would cut a very sly promo saying that his client wants revenge, but he also wants compensation, and if he can't get one, he'll take the other. He would set it up in a way to make Brock Lesnar look good.
I don't think there's much way to make him look good in this.
Yeah, well, you can say that, but I haven't heard the promo yet, so I don't know that for a fact.
Well, I mean, if they're gonna go the revenge angle, then it should have been done already. We all know it's all about the money for him anyway, so it's not like we really believe he cares. It's just showing up to get a payday.
But Heyman's pretty good at convincing me that he does enjoy the work. He takes sadistic joy in it. He gets paid for it, but he also enjoys his work.
Yeah, I'm sure he enjoyed that, 96-second squash.
Well, he probably enjoys the fact that it leads somewhere that gets him a few more...
He got paid for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He got paid, $1 million for, 60 seconds of work.
Yeah, he enjoys the fact that it led him to the bank with a bunch of zeros. That's what I was getting at. So anyway, that's future speculation on Royal Rumble and WrestleMania for you. I think I saw one other potential match that got booked, and I'm drawing a blank on it right now, so I'll have to check my own notes from yesterday's news and see if it's in there. If you remember off the top of your head, Abby, you can tell me, because you probably saw the same.
I don't remember anything. I've been in the last couple of...
Go ahead.
What was it?
I found it. 2 matches, actually, that we haven't talked about yet. Triple H versus Seth Rollins, which I think we were all expecting. And based on what they did at WrestleMania last year, this one isn't a surprise either. Big Show versus Shaq.
Oh my God.
Why? Because they're both huge. That's why.
Why? Because fuck you. That's why.
Why?
Because you like pissing on fans at WrestleMania. Okay.
Why? Because they're both over 400 pounds. That's why.
So what?
Doesn't mean it's going to be interesting or exciting.
I didn't say I thought it was a good idea. I'm just telling you it's not surprising.
Got to have that token celebrity, even though it's somebody that doesn't do much of anything anymore.
Mm-hmm. But Triple H versus Seth Rollins, yeah, that works for me, because I feel like Seth needs to pedigree Triple H in the middle of the ring to really make a statement. I'm okay with that.
There's something one writer is speculating about why John Cena would have the title to face Undertaker would be a title versus career match at WrestleMania 33.
Yeah.
Just no. Do not put the belt on Cena. Just don't.
Well, the thing is, who else is AJ going to logically feud with? He's already whooped Ambrose. The Miz is now working with Ambrose, so it's not like they're going to go there. They're never going to do anything with Wyatt other than what they're doing right now.
Orton?
Dare I say it, and I dread myself for even bringing it up, but Baron Corbin?
No, too soon.
No frowny stomach. Well, at least the title would cover his frowny stomach, but still.
He's wearing a shirt these days. He doesn't take his shirt off anymore. Thank God.
Lately, I get the feeling that Vince really has a hard-on for the guy.
He does, just like he does for Braun Strowman.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean they need to be shot to the pinnacle of either brand right now.
They don't, but because Vince is Vince, that's probably what's going to happen.
God.
You know what? I just realized it could be a lot worse. We could have Braun Strowman versus Shaquille O'Neal. That would be a disaster of magnitudes way above Big Show and Shaq.
It'd be just as bad.
No. Big Show could probably at least carry Shaq through a match. I don't think Braun Strowman could pull that off. Braun Strowman is the one that needs to be carried, so what the fuck would Shaq do with him?
Let's think happy thoughts and Wrestle Kingdom thoughts and not
Yeah.
WrestleMania and it's 47
Ronda
hours.
Rousey, didn't you, Stevie?
Sorry, what's that, Jason?
You had some news about Ronda Rousey, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we can touch on that pretty briefly. She is basically not giving any media interviews and just poo-pooing the press and showing up for things and doing the minimum that she's required to do and then getting the fuck out of Dodge as fast as she can. Like, today she showed up at the weigh-ins, stepped on the scale, they said 135 even, and before you could even blink, she was the fuck out of Dodge. She left in a hurry. She don't want to talk to nobody about nothing, no way, no how.
Well, she's getting a paycheck. What does she care?
I'm starting to get that feeling too. She's the Brock Lesnar of the women's division right now. Like, pay me, fuck you. That's all. Well,
hopefully she's not doping like Brock Lesnar. Hopefully she's doing it the right way.
Well, she is looking pretty jacked up, and I don't think that's because she's doing anything, but you could draw your own conclusions if you wanted to, but she looks quite muscular.
She looks in fighting shape again.
Yeah, not ridiculous fighting shape like Cyborg, who did in fact fail a test.
Yes, who got dinged. Yes.
Oh my God, I am so shocked.
Yeah, it's not like it was the first time for Cyborg either, so. In fact, that's a lot of the drug test failures we've gotten in the last week. Like Josh Barnett. Not exactly his first time either.
Nope.
You would think they would learn by now. Yeah. Especially if they've been hit more than once or twice or 3 times.
And especially,
you're going to get hit if you do this.
Especially when you're in a more stringent drug testing era where they can test you at random, in or out of competition, at any time. You can't just get away with, well, I don't have a fight so I can take shit, and then when I have a fight, I'll stop taking it. That doesn't work anymore.
Nope.
But yes, and that was one of the news stories coming out of UFC 207, which actually takes place tomorrow instead of Saturday because they didn't want to run on New Year's Eve. Although they really botched it with their TV commercials on Fox because the commercials said UFC 207 Saturday. They didn't even realize that their pay-per-view was on Friday.
Then it got moved. I may have to watch this now that it's on Friday night. That makes it a little easier for me to watch. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you think Rousey's done if she loses this one?
She's giving all the appearances that she's done. I think she would rather be a Hollywood star and do movies and not fight anymore. It doesn't seem like she's really that into it.
So you're saying win or lose, you think she's done at this point?
Oh yeah, even if she wins the title, I think she would vacate the title and leave.
Huh, okay.
But she probably wants to win it just to prove a point and prove that she's the baddest woman on the planet, and then immediately retire and say, I'm done. The thing is, I don't think she's winning.
Okay. I was going to say, if she won, you don't think she'd stick around for a rematch with Holly Holm?
No. And I don't think she would give Amanda Nunes a rematch if she won either, but the indicators to me do not say that Ronda Rousey is going to win because usually when you lose an important fight, like a title fight, you go back to the drawing board and you train differently and you work with different people and you try new things. And Ronda is working with the exact same people that she was when she lost. So what has she learned? What has she improved on? How has she gotten better? She hasn't. The champ did that. Nunez took her win over Misha Tate and went out and got new coaches with American Top Team and did all the things that you would do to be a defending champion. She made herself better in every way. Rousey did not. Rousey just got in better shape. That's all she did.
Vegas odds have her at -140 and Nunes at +120, which is essentially a pick'em.
Yeah. Although, to me, that's more a reflection of Rousey's reputation versus her actual skill level at this point.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta keep in mind that when she lost to Holly Holm, she was like a -1,000 favorite, some ridiculous amount like that. Yeah. It was like +800 for Holly Holm to beat her. So the one guy I remember who made like a significant bet on that won like $250,000. Like he was an overnight rich bastard because he was one of the few people actually willing to bet on Holm.
Not a bad time to do it either.
No. And Abby's listening to this like, okay, can we go back to New Japan now?
At least I know who y'all are talking about instead of these weird-ass, obscure sci-fi shit you do sometimes. Then I'm like, I just glaze over like, I got no clue what y'all are talking about. Absolutely none.
Yeah, we won't have a long discussion about Andromeda, I promise.
Thank you.
Which I've been watching, but yeah, I don't think Stevie's seen that, so.
I remember seeing it when it was on, but I don't remember sticking with it for more than like an episode. So I can't even...
Good old Hercules in space that uses the cast of Jason X, or the cast of Jason X to use actors from Andromeda, but whatever.
Yeah, but anyway, like you said, we're not going to do that and bore Abby to tears, so...
Yeah. We'll talk some New Japan.
Yes. I don't remember any card changes between the last show and this show, so if somebody disqualified from Wrestle Kingdom 11, you guys can tell me. Although I did see that Yuji Nagata signed a new 1-year contract, so he's sticking around after Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes, he is.
And apparently...
He's going to wrestle for New Japan until he dies. Until the day he dies, he's going to be with New Japan.
He's not going anywhere.
I wouldn't mind that one bit. He could stay there for another 20 years. If he could still wrestle for another 20 years, I'll take it.
He's performing at a high level for a guy his age. I mean, like 20 years ago, we saw him in WCW, and he's still going strong today. I've got no problem with him signing. He's still entertaining to watch, and I mark out every time I see Demon Nagata lock a submission hold on somebody and his eyes roll into the back of his head.
Mm-hmm.
Demon Nagata is still over with the fans, especially me.
Yes, no argument. I also saw that Kyle O'Reilly did not renew with Ring of Honor, or at least hasn't yet. So... what does that mean for him on January 4th? Any thoughts?
I think Ring of Honor took it for granted that their champion would sign, and his contract, I think, expires Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if he'll be working on a handshake deal. I don't even know if Adam Cole has re-signed yet.
That was my
I don't
next
think
question.
I don't think Cole's expires until sometime around March or February.
Right, so if he doesn't renew, would they have O'Reilly lose to Cole at Wrestle Kingdom?
It would make sense because, Cole was just over there and is fresh in everybody's mind as part of, the Bullet Club or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I find it odd that Ring of Honor has been advertising Cole for all these upcoming shows and they can't even get him to sign a contract.
Right, and I find it equally odd that
Cole, O'Reilly.
Right. Then I was going to make the same point either way, because I was going to say I find it odd that they would go to the trouble to put the belt on O'Reilly and not extend his contract when they did so.
I mean, Lethal just re-signed.
Yeah, I saw that he
O'Reilly hasn't.
Yeah, and the Young Bucks re-upped too, so...
Brings up another interesting question in my mind. How long do they have Bobby Fish signed for?
Have not seen that. Abby, have you?
I haven't seen anything about him.
Because that would suck if Kyle O'Reilly left, but you still got Bobby Fish there. It's like, oh man, you've got half of the best tag team in the world there, but the other half is gone.
Alright, I've got an update. I found it. Lethal signed a new deal. Bobby Fish, War Machine, and BJ Whitmer did not.
Ooh, okay. There might be some writing on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I hope War Machine goes to New Japan.
Really?
You did not watch the Tag League. They were great
I didn't.
in the Tag League.
Wow.
They were great.
I'm surprised. I didn't know they could put on good Japanese matches.
It wasn't about putting on good Japanese matches. They put on good fucking matches. They worked well with everybody, and they were incredible over there. I would love to see them do like Elgin did and sign with New Japan and still work, the independents over here some.
That would be fine with me. Now, on a related Ring of Honor note, did you guys catch that Mandy Leon and Kelly Klein both mocked Scarlett Bordeaux for working WWE without a contract, even though they had both done the same thing?
Yeah, I saw that with Mandy Leon, and it's like, yeah, then people started posting pictures of her as a rosebud. So it's like, your credibility is pretty much shot to hell right now.
Right. They both deleted their tweets because they had both been rosebuds. They realized they fucked up.
Yeah. I would never work there without a contract. You already have.
Yeah.
You mean like this? Here's a picture.
Yeah, that pot calling kettle black on line 1.
People just sometimes need to learn to keep their mouths shut because people on Twitter have a way of making you look stupid.
Yes, indeed.
Of course, there's a lot of people on Twitter that just look stupid like they are, like Ryback. I had to send out my weekly Ryback shut the fuck up tweet today.
I have really reached that point with him and his podcast because every time I get a recap of his show now, I'm like, Jesus, you are not as important as you think you are. Shut the hell up already.
Yeah, it's like he was this big threat to them and threatened them, and Triple H doesn't want anybody to be a star. WWE doesn't want anybody to make money, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You've already ruined your credibility. You priced yourself out of 95% of the independent market. What the hell are you doing?
Well, I know
you're just coming off like an idiot.
I know you're no fan of John Cena, but do you really buy this idea that John Cena personally saw to it to destroy him?
Not 100%. Probably he wasn't even on Cena's radar.
Yeah, but Ryback is making this out to be, well, we were this threat to John Cena, so the Nexus had to be destroyed by Cena single-handedly to make sure that we could never jostle him from the top spot.
His ego is out of control.
Right, it's conspiracy theory bullshit, besides being an out-of-control ego.
Yeah, and it's like, sour grapes doesn't even begin to describe what he's doing.
Feed my ego.
And the thing is, people just laugh at him. It's like, dude, you weren't that important. You weren't that big. You were never going to be that big.
There was a point at which I almost thought he would be that big. There was that point where CM Punk was having his run as like the 400-day undefeated champion, and Ryback was built up to the point where it seemed like he would be the only guy who could take the belt off of him. But it didn't happen, and it was never going to happen. But there was that brief period of time where Ryback was on a long undefeated streak, and so was Punk, so it seemed like they would collide, and yet whenever Ryback and Punk got involved in a match, Punk always retained, or Ryback always got screwed, and it became pretty clear to me pretty quickly they were never going to put the belts on him, because they might not have liked Punk, but apparently they liked Ryback even less.
Well, after hearing everything he's had to say over the last 6 months, I don't blame him. I don't like him too much either.
That reminds me...
He doesn't seem like a very likable guy.
That just reminds me of something I was going to mention about Raw. Before we move on and call Jordan for his weekly Jordan's Corner segment, what about Stephanie McMahon making fun of the crowd in Chicago chanting for CM Punk, saying, "Keep it up for another 2 minutes and 15 seconds and you'll last longer than he did"?
She had that one in her pocket ready to go.
Yeah, she knew they were going to chant for him, and she was just waiting to zing that one out. But it worked. It actually got them to shut up.
I know. And at this point, why even chant for CM Punk anyway?
Because it's Chicago.
Well, it's not just there. They do it other places too.
It's just a general way to show your dissatisfaction with the current WWE product.
Well, get your ass up and fucking leave. I mean, I can see being dissatisfied with the product, but I can't see tossing that kind of disrespect at certain people who are doing their damnedest to entertain you in the ring.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it. That's like the what chance. We're never going to escape those. It's been fucking 20 years. But I mean, it's just, now it's at the point of being disrespectful. It's like, if you have this much of a problem with the product, why did you even come to the show?
Yeah, well, it's also that old, we're gonna entertain ourselves if you're not entertaining us thing, which is disrespectful, but is also partially on WWE for not putting something in front of the fans that they paid good money to see.
Yeah, and I think it's less a reflection on the people in the ring and more a reflection on just creative being out of ideas and the people in charge behind the scenes.
Well, then why even pay your money to come see a show if all you're going to do is sit there and toss a beach ball around or do
Because
the
people are
wave?
fucking marks that just throw their money at WWE. It's bizarre, but it happens.
It's like, get your ass up and just leave. If you've got this much of a problem with the company, hell, boo Roman Reigns, that's fine. You're actually
Everybody does
directing
that.
your displeasure at him for the right reason. But if you just don't like a match between, and I'm going to throw the cruiserweights out there because that's when they did it again during the show. If you just don't necessarily like that match, why can't CM Punk at these guys who are doing everything they can to give you your money's worth?
Are they letting the cruiserweights work like cruiserweights now, or are they still handcuffing them and making them work the WWE style?
Mostly on Raw, they're working the WWE style. This week on 205 Live, we got a little bit of the cruiserweight style.
I can see the fans starting the CM Punk chant if you've got cruiserweights that are billed as cruiserweights, but they're working the same old shit style of WWE 101 match. If it's not a cruiserweight match, I can see the fans kind of turning. But if they're turning during a match that's actually featuring cruiserweight style action, then yeah, they're kind of out of line for doing that.
Well, go ahead, Abby.
I'll say this week on 205 Live, it kind of went off the rails when one guy blew his knee out.
So who was the guy whose knee got blown out?
Mr. 450. What name did they give him? Urinet?
His actual real name. John Urinet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, it couldn't have been TJP.
I can't stand him.
Wouldn't mind seeing him blow his knee out.
So, here's what I understand about Mr. 450 and why I was going to bring it up. He was working in Mexico before he came in for this match on 205 Live, and apparently had already had this injury in Mexico and was trying to cover it up. And then the very first thing he did in the match, it obviously went to shit.
Oh, wonderful. I'm sure he'll get invited back.
Because people were noticing that he was working like he had a prosthetic leg, and that's because he was basically working on one leg. His other leg was no good.
Oh, yeah, and then he started a GoFundMe today, I think.
Oh, he's already launched a GoFundMe to pay for that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, nothing's been added.
Seeing if there were any names added to the New Japan Rumble or any teams added to the Never Open Six-Man or the IWGP Heavyweight Tag. They could throw a few more teams in there if they want.
Hey, now, I don't want to hear nothing about Ishii and Yano being in that tag.
I'm not. It's just more surprising to me that they're cluster-fucking the heavyweight tag match as a three-way match, but leaving the junior tag team match as a single match.
There's Jordan.
Jordan.
Hey, Jordan, what's going on, my man?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good. I tried
Pretty good, you know?
I tried to call your regular number and somebody said you weren't there and hung up on me.
Someone said I wasn't there. Well, I wonder who did that. Maybe a rib by one of my friends. But it is great to be back here on Thursday night AMP on AngryMarks.com. How's everyone doing tonight?
Pretty good. And we're talking about a whole bunch of different stuff going on in WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor. We're kind of all over the map tonight. We're just covering a lot of different topics. But what are your thoughts on pro wrestling this week?
You know, looking at pro wrestling this week, I had a bit of a chance to catch up on it. I think what I'm looking at is what's going to be happening in 2017. You know, wrestling this week, it was a bit of mediocre, a little bit of both, had its ups and downs, but definitely you kind of look at wrestling by the week and you kind of hope it progresses from the week on, and just continue to have hope. And 2017, I have a feeling, might be a big year for the business, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, how do you feel about American Alpha winning the tag team championships on SmackDown? Because, you know, Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, I mean, that's kind of your namesake right there. Jordan and Gable are winning the tag titles.
Absolutely. You know what? You just brought that up. I mean, it's funny. My boss at work was bringing up the American Alpha winning the tag team championship. Good for them. You know, they started out in developmental. They worked very hard, paying their dues. And from guys, like Jason Jordan, who had no experience on the independents. I don't know if Chad Gable transitioning to amateur wrestling to professional wrestling perfectly. Good for them. You know what? It shows that when you don't stop paying your dues and you work hard to get better, good things happen, and that proved to be the case when American Alpha won the tag team titles.
Right on. So, any other thoughts about SmackDown or 205 Live or Raw this week? Any segments strike your fancy?
I want to see more of Arya Daivari. Like I said, I always put the guy over. I've seen him in Minnesota. He's an incredible worker, an incredible talent, and even better individual. I want to see more of Arya Daivari. I want to see the cruiserweights get a legit shot at the show. You know what I mean? You just don't want to be, you know, that guy that played one game in the major leagues and got released and then he plays for an independent team and no one recognizes him? I don't want the 205 brand to be like that. I actually want it to have some notability, and we need it to stand out. And as long as all the fans just continue to stay engaged and just kind of look at the pluses, instead of the negatives, then definitely it would be a huge advantage.
Well, I think we are pretty much in agreement on the show that 205 Live is hitting its stride right about now with all the guys that are being allowed to be interesting characters and not just formulate good guys or bad guys, and having Neville to work against as the kick-ass heel who feels that he's been wronged and wants to take it out on everybody. It seems like they've got a really good direction going right now.
Absolutely. You know, it's just about watching the product and focusing on what is good. And American Alpha is good. And like I said, they definitely earned their rise to stardom, and hopefully they continue it.
All right. Well, Jordan, before your corner is over this week, I want to know, do you have a New Year's resolution for 2017?
Well, I'm proud to announce, actually, I was explaining on past shows how I want to be involved in all aspects of the business because I want to continue to learn, I want to continue to develop, and I want to continue to get better. Having some segments on shows, being on different podcasts, getting some exposure, heck, even getting followed by Ric Flair on Twitter, kind of gives me a feeling that, you know what, there are people out there that have an eye on me, and I want to impress everyone that is able to see my work and able to see my things. So I decided next year to partake in a few wrestling training sessions. I want to, I'm not saying I want to be a full-time wrestler, but I want to be able to have those skills handy in case they need me in the ring, just so I can get my face on another show. But the thing is that I want to train properly, and I want to learn more about the business at the same time. You guys, all of the co-hosts, I guarantee you, Abby, Jason, and yourself, know way more about wrestling than I do. You guys have been fans for a long time. But going on this show, listening to, for example, what Abby had to say last week, it's very informative. I think my New Year's resolution, be less tense, listen to what people are saying, and apply it, and just take advantage of every opportunity. And the way that is looking for 2017 is great. 2016 was my best year in professional wrestling, and it increases my passion of this amazing business even more. I just can't wait to see what 2017 holds for Jordan Garber.
All right, that sounds like a great plan, and I can't fault that idea one bit. Just take what you can hear and learn from it, and grow as a person, grow as a wrestling fan, grow as a person involved in the wrestling business. You've got the right mindset. So that is a good resolution, Jordan, and I applaud you for it. And I want everybody to follow him at Twitter, Jordan J. Garber, and everywhere else on social media.
Hashtag headlines. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on today. You know what? I've been on here while I was cooking burgers at McDonald's in 2014, and I think since then, my position in the show has gone a long way, and me learning about the business has gone even further, and you never stop learning, so it's an amazing part. I've kind of dreamed of kind of being in this situation while I was flipping burgers. So, you know what? Now I have an opportunity, and I plan to take full advantage of it.
All right. Well, do that, Jordan, but if I can offer you one more piece of advice before I let you go this week, slow down on the drinking a little, young man. 17 shots in one night. It's not a good idea.
Yes. 27 shots was not good. That was quite the crazy night, but Jordan Garber lives and he learns.
Yes, please learn from that one, because we want you to be around for many more years. So take care of yourself and take
Come on, it's wrestling. You got to party.
Yeah, but a lot of people have
You
died
gotta party
partying.
once in a while.
That's true, but
You don't got to party like it's 1980.
yeah, a lot of
That is
wrestlers
true.
are.
I wish I lived in the 80s, though.
No, you don't. Those of us who lived through the 80s don't want to go back to them. But anyway, thank you, Jordan, as always, and we'll catch you in 2017. So cheers to that.
Thank you, guys. It was my pleasure. Have a good night, guys.
You too. Good night. All right, that's Jordan Garber on Thursday night AMP. And now back to
27 shots?
I thought it was 17. I miscounted. I guess he did more than I even thought.
27 shots of what?
Whatever they were serving him. I don't think.
I mean, hell, I've put away a whole bottle of Fireball one night, but still.
The last time I tried to put away that kind of alcohol, I wound up in a hospital, and I was his age at the time.
Whew.
According to my friends, I have a hollow leg, so it just kind of all goes down into that leg, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I don't get really drunk, and I don't get hungover, and I can drink a whole hell of a lot. And I don't even pay attention to how much I'm drinking until I go in the kitchen and look, and it's like, shit, that bottle's almost gone, and I just opened it.
See, there's many reasons that I don't drink like Jordan was drinking, but one of the reasons I don't anymore is because of the fact that I don't know if it's a hollow leg or call it whatever you want, but it's like, God damn it, it's expensive to drink that much and not get a buzz. Why even bother?
Yeah, that's why I don't drink a lot anymore. I mean, when I drink a lot, but I don't drink that often anymore.
That's about how I am, and we're from the same era, so yeah, that's.
But when I drink to get,
Hammered.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand.
I don't go out to have, a glass of wine or a beer with somebody. It's like, if I'm going to drink, we're going to do it at your house, for I don't have to drive, and yeah, I'm not going to stop anytime soon.
Well, yeah, it's like I don't have an exit strategy for this drinking. I'm just going to drink until it feels like I should stop drinking.
Or until, I fall asleep on the couch.
Or I fall asleep, or I run out of alcohol. Yeah, that too.
I guess that is where I have to distinguish myself, because I used to drink like that, and nowadays I actually do the moderation thing, which I never thought I would be capable of. I didn't see myself turning into that person, but once I hit my late 30s and early 40s, I just kind of turned into the person where I'm like, you know what? A couple beers, a glass of wine, that's enough for me, thanks.
Well, A, I can't stand the taste of beer. B, wine tastes like cough medicine. So if I'm drinking heavy liquor. And I'm drinking heavy liquor that is mixed in a way that doesn't taste like heavy liquor.
Well, I just don't do it with hard alcohol anymore. I very rarely touch this stuff anymore. But if I do drink anything that's not beer or wine, it's sake.
Not a bad choice.
No. And
Fireball.
And sake I will do multiple rounds of. As long as I have friends there to partake of it with me. I don't like drinking sake by myself, but if I have friends over watching wrestling or anime or playing video games with me and there's a bottle of sake, it's like, okay, let's all share this. Let's have a good time.
I don't share my liquor. That kind of defeats the purpose. Bring your own shit.
Bring your own
bottle.
bottle.
Cost me almost $50. Go get your own. There's a liquor store right up the road. Go.
All right. Well, I'll remember that if we ever get together for an Angry Marks pay-per-view party. I'll bring my own liquor so you don't get mad.
Yes, that is like one of my few rules.
Vince McMahon death party. We'll have to get together for that.
Let's not talk about death in 2016 anymore. We kind of want to keep Betty White around.
Yeah, I heard there was
Vince
actually
McMahon.
a Twitter campaign to save Betty White.
Yes, they started a GoFundMe to protect Betty White from 2016.
Okay, that's back to the Mick Foley point we were going to address. He got a little, I wouldn't say pissed off, but just not really down with the fact that somebody started a GoFundMe for him, because he expressly told people he didn't want a fundraiser for his hip surgery, and somebody started one anyway.
Well, here's the deal.
Use your damn holy Foley money.
All right, go ahead, Abby. You first.
Yeah, he went out there and gave, this sob story about, first of all, earlier this week or late last week, everybody reported he had hip surgery. So that story had to come from somewhere. Then he comes out with the sob story of, no, I need it, and I can't have it because I don't have insurance, and I missed a payment, and I can't afford to have it done, and it costs this much money. And then somebody decides, well, let's be nice and, help him out. And then he goes high and to the right about, no, I don't want this. Well, then why did you get out there on social media and whine and complain about not being able to afford the surgery?
All right.
And about your handshake deal with WWE and how you haven't signed a contract, yada, yada, yada.
Okay. I want to segue.
What did he expect to happen?
Yes. Now let me make one statement and then segue to Jason for his take. I didn't see that he'd actually had the surgery. I saw that he had postponed the surgery because he was needed for all of these other things, like his Santa charity work and showing up at the Roadblock End of the Line pay-per-view when they asked him to. So the way I understood it was that he'd never had the surgery. He had put it off, but I didn't know he put it off because he didn't have the money for it.
About 75% of sites posted, I think it was Monday, that he had the hip surgery.
I guess I wasn't one of them then because I didn't see that.
I didn't either because I didn't see a reputable source for it.
Right. So you and I didn't report that. Top Rope Press didn't, Angry Marks didn't, but other people did. So we're on the side of the right here with this one. But now let me go to Jason.
Yeah, I had heard he needed the surgery. That's where I had left it. I just have little sympathy for Mick Foley needing money. It's like when we had Sabu on, I can understand someone like Sabu who works on the independents night in and night out and gives his body here and there, doesn't get the big paycheck that Mick Foley does. But Mick Foley's got his Legends deal. Mick Foley's got Holy Foley. I really have no sympathy that he's hurting for money.
The only thing I would say I would have sympathy for is that insurance is fucking bullshit. That if you...
Yes, I will agree there. I will agree that it's there. But Mick Foley is rich beyond belief. Don't give me this, I don't have any money crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then him saying that he had insurance, but he didn't pay for a month. And they dropped it. Well, of course they did.
That's what happens, yeah.
And it's so difficult to sign up for, and they won't cover your family. Yeah, they will if you pay more. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do is try to get it, keep putting this off and keep complaining about it where I'm not able to travel and see if I can get a movie or a television gig so that then they can provide me this insurance.
Right, SAG-AFTRA. He wants the actor's insurance.
Yeah, and it's like, if you need this so bad that it is fucking with your quality of life and your family's quality of life and you can't do the job that you're contracted to do, not contracted, but have a handshake deal to do that you said you would do, go get the damn surgery. You have the money to do it. It could take you another year to get a television gig because he's not John Cena and he's not The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not that many people looking for somebody to play Santa Claus in February.
Not unless they're filming a movie to come out the next Christmas.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be ugly, but it's like his whole social media post, it was like, I just sat there and shook my head. It's like, you have got money coming out your ass. You have got a steady job. You have got a reality show on WWE Network. We know they're paying you. And to come out here and say that insurance is so expensive and I'm bitching that I lost my insurance because I didn't pay for it. And there's people out there that literally cannot afford a monthly premium to go to the doctor. There are people that can't afford to pay $125 to go to the doctor. Mm-hmm. And then you get your panties in a wad because fans felt sorry for you because of what you said and start a GoFundMe campaign, and then you get all snippy and bitchy about it. It's kind of like, what did you expect?
Yeah, well, and I try to walk the line down the middle, as I often do on these kind of things. I think, in hindsight, he should have known better than to say anything at all. But I do think that insurance companies don't do you any favors, especially when they change billing plans and billing cycles, and they don't always notify you, and then they look for the first excuse to drop you when something doesn't
He didn't say that happened. He just said he didn't pay for a month.
I'm not saying that he's blameless. I'm saying I do know people that it has happened to where it wasn't their fault. Yeah. Because like a certain website host, I know for a fact, he was on a monthly billing cycle. They changed the way his payments were processed, and then they canceled his insurance because it didn't get paid. And he was not at fault in any way for that.
Well, that's different than saying I didn't pay for a month and I lost my insurance.
Right. That's why I said I can kind of I can split a hair. Like, some people really do get screwed, but I don't know if Foley really got screwed or just fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, he's not working the indies like Sabu is. He's not working minimum wage jobs like other people are out there. Pay your damn premium.
I guess so. But I guess, you know what? There is still the fact that even if he pays the premium and gets insurance for him and his family, he may not be paying $60,000 out of pocket, but insurance will still not cover it all. He'll still have a sizable chunk of it that is billed to him.
Especially now that it's known that it's a pre-existing condition.
Mm-hmm. So he could still end up paying $30,000, and we're not saying that he couldn't afford that, but I can also sympathize with not wanting to drop $30,000 because I don't think I can
understand
do that.
Yeah. I support single payer health care, and I hope we'll see that in the States sometime. Jordan, you're quite lucky up there in Canada to have it.
Yeah, well, don't count on that in 2017 because I think Republicans are going to try to repeal everything.
Oh, they're gonna gut health care. They're gonna gut Social Security. Yeah, our country's going straight to hell. But that's neither here nor there. And been within the context of this podcast.
Right, yeah, we don't really want to go political anyway, so we'll just leave that. But that was one other issue that came up this week that I'm glad we touched on before the show was over, was Mick kind of making his own bed by bringing it up and then being upset that people took him up on it even though he didn't want them to. It was a very strange roundabout way to come to that. Like, if you hadn't said anything in the first place, nobody would have done anything.
Yeah, if you hadn't gone out there and posted a page full of, and I'm not going to say it was whining, but, oh, poor me, on social media, then people wouldn't have done it. Mm-hmm. But the way he wrote it and worded it, it was like, you've got these millions of fans out there. What did you expect him to do when you say, oh, God, I've got this hip that desperately needs replacing and it causes me so much pain, but I don't have insurance, I don't have the money to do it.
And really, the one leading first person, or at least most recognized one that I saw, was somebody that he had helped raise money for lymphoma and leukemia. So she probably felt like, well, since he did so much for me to help me with my fundraiser, it's the least I can do for him. I really do think this woman's heart was in the right place, and coincidentally enough, her name was Abby.
Wasn't me, folks.
I know, but that was my first thought when I saw it. I was like, holy shit, when did Abby become a heart of gold? And then I realized it wasn't, I knew it wasn't spelled the same way, and I knew it wasn't you. That was my clue. Oh, okay. So, anything else we need to rant about before we wrap up the show this week?
I don't think so.
Feels like we covered all the bases. Jason, anything we left out?
Nothing on my mind at the moment, no.
All right.
This time next week, we'll be bitching about, how Okada walked out of Wrestle Kingdom as the champion and Tana beat Naito. So
I think it's going the other way on both of those.
I don't.
I'm hopeful like Jason, but I'm realistic like Abby. That's all I can say about that. So
way to not take a side there, man.
Well, there's what I want and there's what I expect, and they're always two different things.
Yeah.
So on that, Go ahead.
I would love Kenny to win. I would love Naito to win, but I just don't see it happening.
Well, we'll find out in just a few days, because January 4th is right around the corner. So by the time we're back, you'll be hearing all about that from all of us.
Y'all are going to stay up, right?
That is,
and not fall asleep in the middle of the shows again.
Sorry.
I've never done that during Wrestle Kingdom.
I don't think I've ever done that during Wrestle Kingdom either, so I think I could stay
awake. I'm just
awake.
saying, recent history is y'all either bow out or fall asleep in the middle of the shows, and I'm left there. They were just here. Where did they go?
No, I'm gonna, if I have to go to Starbucks before the show and buy like 6 espressos, I will be up all night. I guarantee it.
I reserve the right to fall asleep during any Road 2 shows that I want to.
Wrestle Kingdom, I will be up for. There's no question.
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom, I will definitely be. I've been looking forward to this the entire month of December. So yeah, I will be there live and in person for the entire 5.5 hour ordeal that it will be, but it will be fun.
Well,
They don't call it an ordeal. That's WrestleMania is an ordeal. Raw is an ordeal.
Well, Jason, I'm going to hold you to this because I want you to do the live play-by-play or at least live results on Angry Marks during the show.
Okay, will do.
All right, that is the challenge, and it's laid, so we will wait and see. But in the meantime, what else are we going to plug before we get off the air? What do you have to plug?
Oh, going with me. EventosHQ.me. Let's see if I can do this in Spanish. Para eventos WWE 100% gratis, I guess is how you say that. Yeah. EventosHQ.me. Of course, New Japan World, NJPWWorld.com, best 999 yen you can spend a month. AngryMarks.com, my cooking blog at veggiebending.wordpress.com. I'll plug myself on Twitter. I'm at Great Sudoku. I'll plug Abby on Twitter, who's at Abby A.
And Abby, I'm going to assume Top Rope Press will be first on your list.
Yeah, and that's about all I've got to plug tonight. I'm pretty much pissed at the world, so I don't have anybody else to plug.
You don't even want to plug Fireball Whiskey?
I plugged them plenty already.
Damn it, I should have gotten you whiskey for Christmas.
Lord.
I don't even think I
I've
could
got the
ship
bottle
it.
sitting on the counter.
I don't know if Interstate Commerce would
You
allow
cannot
me to...
ship alcohol into Georgia.
That's what I thought. So even if I got you one, I'd have to drive it there myself.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. We're excluded from all the wine clubs and shit like that. It's something about being in the Bible Belt. I don't know.
Oh, we got blue laws like that here too.
Well, we'll figure out some way to get drinks to everybody for the holidays. But until then, I want to wish all of you listening